There we go. Okay, so one thing that I wanted to start off by saying is I'm sure you guys have all been seeing Meredith's amazing posts, and I don't know about you, but I'm like so jealous that I'm not on the cruise. And hopefully like that gives you a little bit of a like inside view of what those trips are like. Like they seem just super awesome and an opportunity to get to meet people face to face and like just be around such energy of like-minded people. So I, for one, am definitely planning on being in Punta Cana next year, and I think it would be so fun if like we just had a huge group there, you know, from our team. So if you're newer to the team, we can share information in the team page. You can just search Success Club Trip in the team page, and it'll pop up to show you how to get on the wait list. I would highly, highly recommend getting on the wait list. And in addition to that, there is, yes, I'm like, for some reason I'm thinking you would know. Do you know what the upcoming requirement is for
you need to have
Success Club points?
You need to have 10 Success Club points total from January through March. So if you're at Success Club 0 right now, that's completely fine. Like you still have 2 weeks to help 5 people. It's been done plenty of times. So if you're on this call and you have no idea what it means to get Success Club points, or like you really, really want this, message me or Katie or your upline or Meredith right after this call, and we will set a plan literally for you every day to make sure that you hit it. Like it's absolutely possible to hit it still.
So we can all be in Punta Cana together, because that would be amazing. So let's all make it a goal. Let's see. I have a couple of notes here. I, for one, know that we have at least one exciting rank advancement, which was announced on the team page last week. Annie Kramer, Annie Fancy, our new diamond on the team. So super congratulations to you. That is amazing. Not, an accomplishment to be taken lightly. So we're super happy. And obviously that also means Jess McKinley is 1-star qualifying. So she's the first one on the team, which is amazing.
You're welcome.
Yeah. I mean, she is such an amazing leader, so I'm not surprised. Anyone else? I know I'm a little bit out of the loop just because I was traveling all last week, so anyone else have other rank advancements or news that they want to share? Okay. No worries. Okay, great. So then hopefully everyone is still on their Motivated March journey using the hashtag, especially on Instagram. It's super fun to see everyone's posts come together. It's like a Team Fly Girl, like social media storm. So I think it's super fun. And if anyone has ideas on how they want to maybe continue doing that in future months, I think it's like a fun, it really just showcases that this is a team effort. And when you sign up to be a coach, you're part of a bigger movement, you know, and other organizations rally behind different kinds of different hashtags as well. And I think it's one, like, get your challengers in on. It doesn't have to necessarily be just for coaches, or get like, you know, random friends that you know just happen to be into fitness, like using the same hashtag, because it's like all boats float, like when we're all working to accomplish the same goal. So keep going with your Motivated March. And I know that there are some new challenge groups starting on Monday. And if you are new or just like not sure who you want to link up with to host a challenge group in the end of the month in March or the beginning of April, please post in the team page and we'll get you hooked up with other team members for you to host a challenge group. So I think that's the announcements. I'm sure Meredith will have a lot. I'll probably wait for Meredith to talk about this when she comes back next week. But I'm sure some of you guys have seen some of the announcements about the new Beachbody program, the Country Heat from Autumn, which is like a dance. I don't really know much about it, but it's kind of like a dance program. It looks more maybe like Size, but a different genre. I think it would be a really good one for someone who's intimidated by exercise, and especially some of the more intense programs like Insanity. You know, they're like, okay, I'm not ready to do like full on burpees, but I just want to get moving. And for those of us who love country, I love country too. So yeah, I'll be curious to see what songs they're using. So that's coming out, and then I saw that there was going to be another announcement of a Beachbody On Demand exclusive program coming out. I don't have any information about that, but stay tuned into the team page, because as soon as Meredith can share anything, I know that she will. So those are the announcements. And today I just want to jump right into the team topic, because I don't want to take up more of your guys' time, just because we had to start a little bit late since I'm in a different time zone. But this topic is super, super important to me, and I think can make a huge difference in your business as well as your personal life and how you balance everything together. And it's the idea of like learning versus doing, absorbing information versus implementing it. And I know that especially when you're a brand new coach, there is so much information to take in. It's like drinking from a fire hose, literally. I heard somebody compare it one time to signing up for a grad school program and getting all the information on the first day. And I really do feel in a way that it's like that, because all of a sudden the day you sign up, you have instant access to like tons of resources, the whole Coach Online office. And not only that, but all the weekly national wake-up calls, the team calls, YouTube, for Googling your questions, the Coach FAQ. These are all amazing, amazing resources, but it can be overwhelming and a little bit like analysis paralysis if you spend all of your time, researching constantly. And so what I want to share today is like a strategy for you to not only get started, but also people who are at more advanced stages in their businesses, figuring out how to manage their time and move forward in a way that works for their schedule. So first, I want to say for newer coaches, your go-to should be team page, team Flygirl handbook, and the new coach training. Like, trust that the key information that you need to know at that stage in your business is going to be covered in those resources. Now, if you learn about something and you want to go a little bit deeper, like, definitely feel free to Google or YouTube it or FAQ it. It's totally fine. But know that the key information that you're going to need is there in those groups. So going back to like the way that I want to talk about this topic is in terms of like micro and macro time management, basically. So the way that I recommend structuring your work time is like thinking about the micro tasks that you need to accomplish. So these should be considered your daily non-negotiables. The things that you do every single day, they're a little bit in the weeds. Think of it like your structured power hour. And then the macro topics is like, what's one larger goal that I want to accomplish this month? If it's more strategic or more personal, pick one thing per month. And I want to break that down a little bit. So if you think about your micro topics, we've done several posts or calls recently about power hour, and I'm going to share with you what is in my power hour. Like, that is non-negotiable every single day, and it's bringing it back to basics. So your workout and your shake, that's kind of a given. That's an easy one to do and something that's just going to make you feel better. I know though, as you get busier, like sometimes you tend to forget. Personal development, but it's not like hours and hours of personal development. It's 20 minutes, 30 minutes, like at the max. If you're listening to a 45-minute to an hour podcast, like that's fine, but maybe don't feel like you have to do that in depth every single day. 20 minutes is really enough, whether you're reading or listening or watching something, keep it focused. And related to personal development, I'm kind of skipping ahead, but I had read this from Chalene Johnson, and it relates to your macro topic. Like, don't skip around from concept to concept day after day. So it's like one day you're doing PD on confidence, and the next day you're learning about Facebook ads, and the next day you're learning about how to set up new coach training, and then how to invite people to challenge groups. It's literally gonna freak your mind out if you do that. And in that way, personal development becomes more of a barrier than I think that it becomes helpful, because it creates this like urgency in your mind of, oh crap, like all this stuff I need to get done, you know, and then it tends to, I think, move you away from what's really important, what your basics are, and what you need to keep coming back to. And that's why if you set a macro topic that you want to learn about in that particular month, then you can make sure you're keeping consistent with your basics, but then you're layering in a new knowledge area that you want to learn, whether it's Facebook ads or whether it's simply just like how to have more, how to lead a better challenge group, how to encourage and motivate people, different things like that. So there's lots of different macro topics that you can choose, and go to your upline or go to your teammates if you're like struggling with something but not sure where to focus your time and energy. So, and moving forward, but back to the micro topics, my non-negotiable power hour, again, workout and shake, personal development, but keeping it short. Invites, so I would say minimum 3 to 5 per day, and that can be, I think you want to make sure, and this is one thing that can get a little bit tricky. I think sometimes we assume that just liking somebody's post or commenting on their page or post is inviting someone, but it really also means that you have to like actually verbally or physically invite somebody to participate, invite them to come in with you. And you don't have to do all 5 of your conversations each day in that way, but make sure that every day you're thinking about someone who might be good for your challenge group and somebody who might be good for like a team member of yours. And this goes back to, remembering that all of us sitting here, got here through an invitation. Somebody invited us into a challenge group or to be a coach because they saw something in us that they thought would make an excellent coach, or that we needed this in our lives. And I think it's easy to forget that when you feel like you're like, oh, I'm just supposed to invite people, but you're really, instead of offering, instead of inviting, I like to say I'm offering something to someone that can help them. And maybe that's a better word for you, or maybe there's another word that resonates with you more than inviting, but that's really key to your power hour. So make sure that you're doing that every day. Posting or exposures, I'll answer the questions at the end, Ashrita. That's okay. Posting or exposure should be part of your daily activities, and I recommend at least 1 to 2 per day. So when I first started out, I only posted once per day, and doing the 100 Days of Healthy hashtag was an amazing way for me to get used to it, get comfortable with it. It was like a reminder, okay, you need to be posting something every single day. Because again, if you stop, people think that you've stopped. So you want to always remind people that you're in this for the long haul, and that you're committed, and they're going to be inspired by that long-term dedication. And then checking into your groups. So making sure that you're cultivating your existing coaches and customers just as much as you are trying to bring new people into, the team or into your challenge groups, because those people should be the most important people to you. You want to take care of them, make sure that they're getting results, make sure that they're seeing successes, those kinds of things. So we've talked a lot about focused power hours in the last couple of calls, but I'm bringing it up because it has so much to do with the topic in terms of action versus information. And I think a lot of people, sometimes they feel discouraged because they're not growing in their business the way that they want to. And a lot of times it comes down to how you're spending your time. If you're spending your time in training after training after training, at some point you have to do something. And, this is why that you should always create before you consume. So make sure that your power hour and not personal development even is like your first thing that you're focused on whenever it is that you sit down to work on Beachbody stuff. It doesn't mean it has to be the first thing that you do every day if that's not the way your schedule works. But when you sit down, like, get those non-negotiables out of the way and then do your personal development, your learning time. And Chalene Johnson actually said it really well in a podcast that I watched of hers, that make sure that every single week you are implementing at least 1 hour of time on what you've learned in your personal development, because we are like definitely supposed to be professional researchers, and that is such an amazing quality in an independent business owner, which we all are. Like, taking initiative, seeking out your own information, all these kinds of things, but not to overlook the importance of actually completing a project, or taking the time to actually learn from making mistakes. You can learn about how to invite people to challenge groups all day, every day, but until you take that step to actually invite someone, you're not going to understand what works and what doesn't. You're not going to understand the objections that you personally get because of the way that you might be presenting the information. Sure, you might watch a video about the objections that top coaches have had, but they may not be the exact same as yours. So learning by doing is the absolute hands down best way to learn, to get better. And so that is something that I hope you guys all take away from this call, is making sure that you're doing equal implementation time as you are learning. And I know some people are new to the team since then, but it was maybe a couple weeks ago or months ago, I posted something in the team page, and I wanted everyone to write out a percentage ratio, like how much learning time versus doing time do you have. But Jess?
Can you mute all the lines?
What?
Can you mute all the lines?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, guys. I'm going to mute you guys if I can figure it out.
Because I'm like, I don't think I know.
Oh, I hear that. I'm not 100% sure how to do that. I know how to mute my own. Sorry. Can you guys all mute yourselves, especially if you're driving or on the phone? I'm trying to figure out how to do it, but...
Someone's blow drying their hair, blowing leaves or something.
Hold on. I don't know. I don't know how to do that. I'm sorry, guys. Maybe making a shake. Hello, if you're making your shake, stop blending. Focus power hour. That's good. Okay, well, I'm just going to keep going. So sorry, I don't know how to mute people. So let's see, what was I saying? Oh, yeah, so I was talking about how I had asked people what the percentage that they were doing versus implementing. And a lot of people said maybe 75% learning, 30% actually doing. And you can see that that's, at the beginning, it might be a little bit more like that because you're in, that's okay. At the beginning, it might be a little bit more skewed that way, but really after the first month, you need to shift that and make sure that you're taking action 70% of the time and learning, 30% of the time. Because it is important to keep growing, to keep evolving, to keep trying new things. But there's a reason that the vital behaviors are what they are, because they work. Because going back to them time after time after time is what's going to help you hit Success Club, help you help more people, help you achieve whatever goals that you have. And I know I've done it myself. Like, I have totally shiny object syndrome. I'm like, I want to learn this and that and this and that, and I want to do all these things. And then I can tell, like, the growth of my business in the first couple of months I was a coach, when all I was doing was the vital behaviors, to now where I feel like I'm trying to do all these other things. It's a lot different because I'm not always as consistent with the vital behaviors. So make sure that you're doing those first and foremost before you move on to the other things, those shinier, sexier things that you want to accomplish. There's a reason that they're there. If you need help with that, there is a business activity tracker in the Coach Online office. It's not like beautiful, but even you could take it and adapt it into your own spreadsheet, Excel, you like it printed, or even if you just want to do like 6 check marks and these are your non-negotiables and you just like redo it every day, make it work for you. But actually checking things off will help you realize what you're accomplishing and what you're not making time for. This is, okay, so this is another theme that ties into that, which is just in time versus just in case training. I know that I personally am fall very victim to this. I love like signing up for podcasts, and I love signing up for newsletters and reading blogs and all that stuff. And I feel like half the time it's like stuff that I'm not there yet. Like, I am not at a place where I'm trying to implement like webinar launches or something, but I'm learning about it. And it's like, well, that is a just in case learning. Like, I'm learning about it just in case I ever want to do it. I'm not like ready to do it right now. So when you're thinking about your macro topic, the one thing that you want to focus on for March or April or whatever month it is, focus your trainings about that and make sure that you're doing them just in time, like because you need them, not like, well, in case I ever decide like I want to be Periscope queen, like, you know what I mean? Like, pick your focus. And along those same lines is pick where you want to focus your energy in terms of your online presence. I know that you might see certain people having success with Instagram or a blog, a website, Facebook, like whatever it is, and that's fine, but you need to pick what works for you and not feel like you have to be everywhere all the time. Even if you hear trainings that say otherwise, you have to realize, how precious your time is, and that this was on an Amy Porterfield webinar, like you have to go deep before you can go wide. So you have to really understand your customer, you have to really understand the channel that you're working with or working on before you can expand to everything else. And that's a mistake that a lot of people make early on, because they start seeing, they are looking at what everyone else is doing. And it's not about what everyone else is doing or what they need. It's about what you're doing and what you need. So what works for someone else on your team, whether it's your upline or someone that you just met, may not work for you, and that's totally okay. So not only should you pick like a topic focus for a given month, but pick a platform or two that you want to really, become an expert in and connect with your community on and stay there. Don't feel like you have to do it on every single platform every single day. And then, okay, and I think I might have already said this about always creating before you consume, but I want to come back to it because some people might notice I used to be really, really active, like liking everybody's posts and commenting on it and stuff. And I think it's so important to support your teammates and your friends and your coaches and all those kinds of things. But social media can very quickly and very easily take over your life. First you're kind of thinking, okay, I want to scroll and see if so-and-so posted and give them some love. all of a sudden an hour has passed and you haven't done anything. So it doesn't mean if somebody's not commenting or posting on your stuff that they don't care. They might just not have seen it yet, or they're trying to protect their own time. And I encourage that to do that to everyone moving forward, because you're going to save your sanity in the long run. And one thing you can actually do as well is, like I do this for all of my coaches, is I go to their profile and then I click on the little, it's like notifications or something, and I click see first so that they show up first in my news feed so I can see like what you guys are doing. So that's a little bit of an easier way to, and you can do that for challengers, or, you know, if there's anyone that you want to like stay in touch with more frequently. But again, like it comes back to not getting sucked into this consumption, you know, lifestyle. So yeah, sitting there and scrolling your news feed, scrolling your Instagram channels, checking into the groups for every notification that comes up. If you haven't turned off your notifications, do it now. Be the best thing you've ever done for yourself. Especially if you're like expanding your network through joining other Facebook groups, you're going to start getting a ton of notifications. And the point of this, one of the points of this call is to show you that the idea of coaching is not to work harder. It's to work smarter, more efficiently, more effectively. Like, view social media as a get in, get out. It's a means to an end. It's a means for you to like share your information, connect with people, and then go. Like, leave. Don't keep checking on it like 20 times a day. I'm not saying that I'm perfect at this. I always need this reminder myself. But it is like so easy to get like sucked into a time warp, and then you haven't accomplished your goals. So okay. Okay, this quote, it sounds kind of rude, but I thought it was actually really good. So does anyone know Diane Sanfilippo? She's the author of Practical Paleo, and she just is like a pretty big online presence. I like to watch her on social media because she's done a good job of transitioning from, she's like the end-all be-all expert for paleo, and then she's transitioned more into like a business coach and that kind of thing, which I think she's just done well. But she was talking about on her podcast how someone was on her Facebook page complaining that they didn't have $25 to buy her book, and they wanted her to give it to them for free. And she's a little bit sarcastic, a little bit, you know, but she says, if you don't have $25 to buy my book, get off your computer and get off social media and go get a job. And I just thought this was funny and relevant, because I know if we're sitting here saying I haven't hit Success Club, or I haven't, seen the growth that I'm looking for, or I haven't had time to get my workout in, you know, whatever it is, it doesn't always have to be about Success Club and those kinds of things. Then get off social media and make it happen. Like, if you're using social media to make it happen, that's one thing, but use it for that. And don't mess around with the other stuff. So that's kind of like my style too. So I know Meredith and I are like a little bit different. Hopefully this was still motivational for you guys and informational. And those are really the main points that I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to take like 30 minutes. But if anyone has any questions or like things that they've learned about time management, feel free to share or ask questions. You can just unmute yourself. I'm going to see if there's any comments. Okay, I'm going to go back, Ashrita, to your question really quick. So as far as inviting people, so not necessarily, it can be casual or it can be more formal, where like if you've been engaging with in a conversation with someone and they've been telling you about like their health goals or their challenges, you can straight up say like, hey, I have a group starting on X date. Like, do you want to join? It can be, you know, something like that. Or the 5 invites per day, I personally do like half straight invite like that and straight just connecting. Like, so it may not be an invite today, but it might be an invite later, if that makes sense. Like you're starting to build a relationship to a future invite, because you can't every single day just be like, hey, join me to people that you don't necessarily have a relationship with. Because in my opinion, that's what gives coaches a kind of like negative vibe if you're just doing it to total strangers, you know, unless you know they're receptive to it. So
to piggyback off of that, I would also say that once you're in the frequent cycle, when you're first starting, like you're not gonna just be like, hey, exactly what Katie's saying, you're not just gonna be cold inviting. But once you've gotten into the habit of expanding your network, talking to people, like getting outside of your comfort zone and connecting, actually reaching out to those people that like your Facebook post, that you're like, hey, I haven't talked to this acquaintance in a while, and you're catching up with them, then it can sometimes you can get in a habit of where it's the same thing where you feel like you're doing and you're just catching up with people all the time, but then you're scared to actually make the invite. So like I know a lot of people just say like, well, what do you say? And this is a call for like another time, but just for newer coaches or coaches who have been just kind of learning, training, simply like connect with them on the thing that you connected. Let's say, for example, the person liked a post that you posted of you like in your sports bra working out, like with a motivational quote. You just say like, thanks so much for your support on my posts. I really appreciate it. I run these monthly accountability groups. I don't know if you know anything about it. Would you be interested in hearing more details about that? And then always end it with a question instead of like, let me know, just vague. And then I've never had anyone say, no, I will want no more details. At the very least, they're like, all right, like, yeah, what is that? And then you can give them information. It's very conversational. You've already been chatting. So you'd be surprised. I think for the longest time, I would be like, oh, especially with guys, I would be like, oh, well, like, I don't know, like, these guys aren't going to be interested in what I do. Like, how dare I choose for them and not invite them and decide for them that they don't need this? Because I've had multiple guys reach out to me after I've been like, oh, I should have invited them 6 months ago when they've been liking my stuff, but I just thought they wouldn't be interested. Just invite them and let them decide for themselves, you know? So the inviting process doesn't have to be as scary. And the more you're talking to people, the more you're inviting, the less scary it is. Just do, and then you'll make some mistakes along the way, but
yeah. My first emails were terrible, like so bad. It's embarrassing. I should find them like this long, like
word bomb.
Everything you ever need to know. And I've never done this myself, but like, here you go. Dana, I will send you the link for the Success Club waitlist.
Yes.
I wanted to just piggyback on what you were saying also. It's so scary to invite at first, but I kind of just started thinking that if I never started coaching, I probably wouldn't have started speaking to a lot of these people anyway. So it kind of like flipped my mindset to think, all right, so I invite them. Maybe they're not interested, but like we probably wouldn't have been talking anyway. So it's not that big of a deal. And that kind of helped me get over that. So
yeah.
And like Katie said, you learn through doing. So as you're talking to people and as, you know, maybe some people are telling you no or not right now, you're learning, you know, what you're good at and, you know, the things that you need to change the next time you talk to somebody. So it's a learning experience for sure.
And if anyone on this call is scared, just think about the person that invited you, because I know that there are a couple of faces on this call that I not just like decided like, okay, I'm gonna connect with this person and invite them. Rachel, Bristol, right here. We connected, like we were acquaintances. We had some classes in high school, and now we've like become friends, and we've gotten to know each other, and it's just like you are missing out on potential relationships. Like Annie and I were close friends, but we had kind of drifted a little bit, and truly, like I can't even tell you, it is worth 100 no's to get like the people that are on your team. Like I would not give up these relationships for anything. So just think about that. For 100 no's, you get 1 Annie Kramer. Good. Yeah.
Okay, was this helpful? Like, yes or no? Okay, good. I appreciate that. Try to make it useful for people at like all stages in their coaching business. It's a constant reminder I need for myself too. So, okay. All right. Well, everybody have an amazing, yay, so helpful. Okay, good. Have an amazing rest of your night. I'm going to go work out strictly so I can eat my mug cake and see you guys later.